What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here again for NXT review for July 4th, 2018. Happy 4th of July to everybody in the United States, and to everyone outside of the United States. It's just another Wednesday for you. But tonight we had our NXT, we had our NXT with Johnny Gargano and EC3 in the main event, which was, I think, was a chance for EC3 to show what he's got for WWE, because he really hasn't got to show what he's made of, because he was in that ladder match and has faced off against a bunch of jobbers, to say. This was a match that had two sides to it. It was the Johnny Gargano wants to come out and beat some ass, and then three halves, I should say. It started off with Johnny Gargano wanting to come out and beat some people up, or beat some ass, because, you know, he's still pissed and miffed and wants to destroy Tommaso Ciampa, and he's going to do whatever he can to make everyone get a match with Tommaso Ciampa again. So he's going to take his anger out on anybody. Then there was the part of the match where EC3 calms this down, and then towards the climactic end to this match, Johnny Gargano snapped. And we've seen a Johnny Gargano we have never seen before. And Nigel Gargano's put it out as being Johnny Gargano becoming something that he has despised. So definitely a great main event. And yes. Oh, this will be fun. And yes, and this, I'm going to just talk about this now, because yes, Johnny Gargano, we have ourselves a little bit of backstage-ness that was just put on to the WWE Network 8 minutes ago, and Johnny Gargano says Johnny Wrestling is gone. Let me get the I forgot about commercials, you know how that goes. But yes, Johnny Gargano says Johnny Wrestling is gone. This is going to be interesting, and this is going to be laid up to a couple of things to talk about tonight, which is we do have an NXT Championship match that has not been made for Brooklyn, but has been announced for 3 weeks from now, as well as next week's show being stacked as can be. But Johnny Gargano says Johnny Wrestling is gone.
Johnny, we haven't seen you since NXT TakeOver Chicago, when you suffered a defeat against Tommaso Ciampa. Tonight's match against EC3, we saw a different side to you. What sent you to that?
What sent me to? What hasn't sent me to that? What haven't I been through? Tommaso Ciampa wanted to take everything away from me. He said he was going to take my career. He said he was going to take my health. He wanted to take everything I love away from me. And I wouldn't let him do it. I didn't let him do it. And then Chicago, when he ripped the wedding ring from my finger, spit on it, threw it in the crowd, and still won. Still won. When everything was said and done, his hand was raised and he won, and he got everything he wanted. He beat me. Took everything away from me. I walked out. I didn't leave in an ambulance, but I walked out, and I walked through that curtain a different person. I woke up that next morning, and I looked in the mirror, and I didn't know who was looking back at me anymore. Johnny Wrestling is gone. I don't know who I am anymore. And it's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. I don't know what it is. Out there tonight, I don't know what that was. Something just happened. And you know what they say? Be careful fighting the darkness, because you may become the very darkness you're fighting. And maybe that's
true. This is definitely going to be something great. That is something awesome. if it didn't pick up, he said, "You fight the darkness, you will become the darkness." Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true. This is great because it's showing Johnny Gargano becoming more and more unstable, and this is going to lead to bigger and better things for Johnny Wrestling, for NXT. And what's going to happen is, well, in 3 weeks, it has been announced that it will be Tommaso Ciampa versus Aleister Black for the NXT Championship. What does that mean for Brooklyn? Is Tommaso Ciampa going to get that? He has his one chance. He said it's only going to take him one shot to beat Aleister Black for the NXT Championship, and we could find out very well that he is going to go out there and take it from him. We will have to wait and see, and I cannot wait for that to happen. It's going to be very interesting what's going on in the next couple of weeks. Next week, when it comes to NXT, before we get into the rest of the review, we have the Undisputed Era's Adam Cole going up against Danny Burch, with Oni Looking being out with fracture over the bone. Hopefully he has a speedy recovery, because it sucks for him and Danny Burch to be just starting to get skyrocketed up, and he goes down with this injury. As well as we will have Vanessa Bourne versus Kairi Sane next week as well. And I believe there was one more match too. If you hear fireworks in the background, it's because it is the 4th of July as we speak, and people are sitting up out there shooting off fireworks. But let's see. Let me see here. Yeah, I think that's it. We have Cole versus Burch next week, and we have Kairi Sane versus Vanessa Bourne, which are 2 matches that were made for next week. And of course, Black versus Ciampa. We'll talk about those all later. But NXT, again, with another good show. We also have Bianca Belair on her honeymoon, which congratulations to her and Montez Ford for their wedding. I hope it works the best for both of those guys, because it is just the proper thing to say. So she sent out a promo talking about why does all these women in WWE expect in NXT expect to get what they want? They all want to go for the NXT Championship, NXT Women's Championship. Why? What have they done lately? It should be her. And you know what? I'm going to just enjoy my honeymoon, and when I get back, I'm going to prove to everybody why I should be the next #1 contender for the NXT Women's Championship. The show started off with Dakota Kai versus Santana Garrett. This was a pretty good match. Dakota Kai, it was not a squash at all. It was a good back and forth contest. Dakota Kai ended up winning with that flipping. I have no idea what the hell she does, but she has she flips over the person. Looks like she's going to do a roll through. Lands her knees, her front of her feet on the back of Santana Garrett's head, and then flips her forward, which I guess they call it Dakota Kai Gura, whatever. So you had yourself Dakota Kai winning. Shayna Baszler, which I was surprised they didn't do it. They didn't have Shayna Baszler continue to wreak havoc in the mind of Dakota Kai, because right after this they went to a commercial break and they came back, and Shayna Baszler came out and stated, "Everyone keeps asking how you handle Nikki Cross. Well, when the dog goes rabid, you put it to sleep. You asked the question, and I answered, I'm the most dominant force you have ever seen. The answer will always be the same." Asuka chant from the entire crowd, because yes, Asuka was the longest reigning and still is the longest reigning NXT Women's Champion of all time, and she was pretty dominant back then too. They don't have the promo, of course not. But she lists off Belair, Kairi Sane, Candice LeRae. The answer will always be the same. I'm the reason they had to have a second Mae Young Classic this year. They have to find a challenger for me. It doesn't matter who they are. The answer will always be the same. I will put them to sleep, and you will hear, and still NXT Women's Champion holds up the title, and music plays. So we'll definitely, the Mae Young Classic is going to be at the Brooklyn, and there will be an NXT Women's Championship match at Brooklyn. I'm going with Kairi Sane because it's just the one that you would seem to go with. I would not mind to see Bianca Belair, but Bianca Belair is a heel. Candice LeRae, I don't see really factoring in there, because as Bianca Belair said in her later promo, that she mentioned Candice LeRae by saying one woman who can't focus on herself because she's too busy worrying about her husband. So I can see Kairi Sane being the only one who makes sense for the NXT Women's Championship. The Mae Young Classic one was probably going to get a championship match at Los Angeles. That's just what they did last year with War Games, is that they put Kairi Sane in a fatal 4-way, which when you see somebody who wins a tournament and they come out and they're like, we're going to give you a championship opportunity at this next big event like TakeOver, and it's a fatal 4-way, you know that person wasn't going to win. Who's going to win the Mae Young Classic? I don't know. We haven't had any names actually confirmed for it, but we'll have to wait until then. In the back, Danny Burch was asked about Chicago and an update on Lorcan. He says Chicago was a combined 25 years and it was this close. Lorcan will be back in about 3 months. He did unfortunately get answered. The Undisputed Era makes it their way here, and they will evoke the rematch clause next week. That's another match we also have. We have Kairi Sane versus Vanessa Bourne, Mustache Mountain versus the Undisputed Era, and Adam Cole versus Danny Burch. So NXT next week is going to be a stacked show. So if you have not seen NXT this week and you're looking forward to a show next week, NXT is going to be the show to watch. Cole versus Burch pretty much Cole got challenged by Burch, not for the NXT North American Championship, just a one-on-one match. Cole laughs it off and says, no problem, man. William Eagles then later on said Danny Burch had a good idea, so next week it will be Adam Cole versus Danny Burch on NXT TV. And then, of course, they did announce Ciampa versus Aleister Black 3 weeks for the NXT title, which will be in the next set of tapings. This is not the set of tapings. So, and unfortunately, if the title does change hands, I'm pretty sure, and this is why I don't think that title will change hands in 3 weeks, is because, like with Mustache Mountain winning the tag team titles in Royal Albert Hall, you know for a fact that the NXT Championship changes hands. WWE will have no choice but to spoil it themselves or everybody will be tweeting about it. You'll see tweets for days that Tommaso Ciampa won the NXT Championship at a taping. So I think that's going to be safe for Brooklyn. I think Johnny Gargano is going to get involved here, and we're going to see a triple threat for the NXT Championship at Brooklyn. Velveteen Dream versus Chris Dijak was a tale of 2 matches as well. Chris Dijak, pretty much Velveteen Dream was like, this guy's nothing. I'm going to sit in here. I'm just going to do what I want. And Dijak pretty much just grabbed him and threw him around like a rag doll for a while. And then the match turned on its head when Dijak got his head drilled onto that spot where they grab their leg and they just throw him forward and they land on the apron. Yeah, Dijak hit his head fell onto the Stop and the Steel steps. He comes back in, and Velveteen Dream does his Sister Abigail pose before he wraps his arm around and hits the DDT for the 1, 2, 3, and Velveteen Dream beats a Chris Dijak who did not go down lightly. I missed something. Hold on. I did mess this. Hold on. I messed that up. Sorry. We also had the Mighty was supposed to take on Otis Heavy Machinery. Now, they had a clip earlier in the night where you had Tucker Knight, lifting the weights, and I guess they had steaks cooking in the back. They had Otis was going to go look at the steaks, and then Tucker Knight supposedly got injured. What they did this for and wrote him off for this episode of NXT in this week is because Tucker Knight, during this week of tapings, had a baby. So he wasn't here at all for this actual set of NXT tapings because he was with his family. So they used that to get him off TV. Otis Dosovich did take on the Mighty. This was not an easy match for the Mighty to win. They did end up winning this match, but Otis Dosovich beat he was a big boy and he gave them a hard time. So yes, the Mighty ended up winning with the lariat to the back of the head after Dosovich worked for the Vader Bomb and missed. Let me see what else we have here. Oh yeah. After the Dream match with Dijak, EC3 music hits after Dream is in the ring still celebrating, doing his poses. EC3's music hits and he just bails to the ring and Dream bails, and they have a stare down. So I'm feeling that we're going to get EC3 versus the Velveteen Dream at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4. So I'm looking forward to that when it happens. EC3 versus Johnny Gargano, as I said, was a tale of 3 matches. It seemed like Johnny Gargano comes out. Well, 2 matches. They both went back and forth with each other. Johnny Gargano came out hot. EC3 settled it down. He even said, "You can't do this to me. I'm not Tommaso Ciampa." And whatever it was, Johnny Gargano snapped. and beat the holy hell out of this guy. He put him in the Gargano escape. He gets to the ropes. Johnny Gargano was trying to do his knee, like the running knee, while EC3 was down, and took his knee pad down and tried to, hit him with the exposed knee, but he got picked up by that. He did get put in the Gargano escape. He got to the ropes. Johnny Gargano used the 5 count as much as he could. He got so incensed, he went back to EC3, and EC3, he did not pull EC3 away from the ropes, and he put him in the Gargano escape again to, just cause him more punishment. And he ended up, just like a takeover of Chicago, EC3 was on the rolled to the apron. He pulled him in, and you know how Randy Orton likes to pull his opponent so his feet are draping on the ring ropes while he's doing a DDT. Gargano did not do that. Gargano grabbed EC3, held him in the face lock position. EC3 had his stomach area over the ropes, and he just viciously DDT'd him. He went down like a ton of bricks. EC3 rolled into the ring a little bit, and he was dead. 1, 2, 3. Gargano won in a vicious manner, and EC3 got not had to hurt EC3 a little bit, but Gargano after the match looked like he started to what the hell did I just do? He was just trying to seem like he was fighting himself after this match was over with. So this is going to probably play into 3 weeks from now. We will see Johnny Gargano get involved with Tommaso Ciampa and Aleister Black's match. I can see this again leading to a triple threat match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. We haven't seen a multi-man NXT Championship match since NXT TakeOver Fatal 4-Way 3 years ago. So definitely looking forward to see what they do with NXT TakeOver Brooklyn, and leading up to that, because we still have one more set of tapings to go. Tonight was a pretty darn good show. Next week is going to be stacked. We're going to have a title match. We're going to have 2 other matches already named, and Aleister Black will be there as well, leading up 2 weeks before his title defense. I believe there was 1 more week after next week. I could be wrong, but we will see what happens when we get there. Until then, this is your NXT review. Hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button, comment down below. Find me on Twitter at TheFrots. Hit that follow button there. Find me on twitch.tv/TheFrots08. There will be no unscripted this week. I am going through some personal things and I'm trying to get through it. So I wanted to get Raw, SmackDown, and NXT done this week, but I'm going to be taking the rest of the week off, trying to sort through these things. It is not a really good time for me right now to be doing much of this stuff. I have been skipping on and taking time away from Twitch, just because this is not the best time for me to be doing that stuff. I compose myself as much as I can for these shows, for these reviews, because I do love doing this and I want to get this done. So I'm not missing content, but I'm going to try and get everything sorted out with me. And by Monday, when we do Raw next week, I will be in a better place. But it's not really a good time for me, so I'm just happy for what I'm able to do, but I'm going to see you guys later, and I will see you next week.